It's okay. It was a little lower. I mean, it was in the kind of upper 70s area and everything in our percentages, which is kind of below what we were shooting for. I mean, we'd like to, on the worst weeks, be in the kind of the 80s, and that, or the tougher weeks in the 80s and the 90s, are what kind of when you're playing at a high level. So it was just slightly below that, but I think in the circumstances of that, did some good things, and there's definitely things we can clean up.
How specifically do you want to see him build off that start?
Well, I think, him being able to get in there and get some kind of stuff going and some first downs for us was really good for us, especially, on the fourth drive, able to get us kind of down the field and get us into get us in the end zone there. And then those other 3 drives we got down there and had to settle for field goal. We want to come away with that, but I think it's a building point. We were able to get some good evaluation on things he does best, things that we got to accentuate with him, things that we will probably tone back on, and all those types of things in the football, in the game situations. But there were definitely some good things that I think we can kind of move forward from.
So if you grade out lower than you want something to, then what gave you the confidence from what you saw to kind of what you and, I guess, Coach Wells' confidence to name the quarterback going forward?
Well, really, it was kind of how we look at it. It's like, who's going to give us the best chance to go out and win the football game, and just to kind of evaluating last week's practice and the game, and the couple series that Jackson had, and the series that Jet had, kind of gave us the kind of confidence that he's our best option to win football games right now. What he can do with the football, what he can do athletically, and kind of some of the things he did throwing the ball vertically for us, and be able to get some explosives that way, because we gotta continue to manufacture those, and then we got to become a lot more efficient on first down and getting first downs on drives.
A lot of smiles coming off the practice field today. Was it a particularly good practice for both sides of the ball today?
Well, I think they enjoy getting back out here. I mean, you kind of the bad taste is in your mouth all through Sunday. You come in Monday, we kind of put the video to bed. We come out yesterday and kind of get the practice, and that's kind of the first time they get to kind of move on from the previous game, because it wears on everybody. It wears on all of us. It's you wear what you do. It's your video. It's our resume that we put out there. But then you get out here and you get to kind of play the game you enjoy, football. And you get to go out and kind of put a plan together and get to execute a plan and see how we're going to try to attack Oklahoma State defense. So I think that helps. And then we had a little energy toward the end of practice when a little 11-on-11 stuff against each other got a little heated, which is good. Football's a physical game and everything, so I think that was kind of it. But I think the kids enjoy football. They enjoy being around their teammates. They enjoy that part, which it makes it fun to coach them.
How would you describe that Oklahoma State defense?
Really, they're kind of the 3 down. They do a lot of stuff, a lot of coverages, a lot of movement with their backers and everything. So it's a challenge for a quarterback to be able to see the coverage, see how they're going. Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it quarters? Is it man? Is it blitz? I mean, they do a lot of stuff with that, and they do a great job disguising it. There's multiple times they're lined up, and if you stop the video, I'm going to get it. It's one of these 3 coverages, and then you got to see it on the snap to really verify it. So they do a good job with that. Play a lot of guys up front, so they stay fresh up front, and then their back 7, their safeties are really good, and those corners are real big physical guys. So it'll be a challenge for our guys on the perimeter and getting those guys blocked, but also getting open on them.
Coach, I think there's one series where you guys got a couple of penalties and they scored 2 downs, a significant amount, and you went run, field goal. Is that, when you come up with those play calls, is that you consulting with Wells? Is that you alone? Is that Wells saying, hey, I want to go on 4th down, let's stay conservative a little more? Or what is
No, it was really, I think the first and second down was kind of what we kind of had seen, and we were trying to get to run the football right there, trying to get in a much more manageable 3rd down. And then if I remember the right one, it was kind of a 3rd down that it was kind of on the edge. It was a situation, hey, if we get this to 4th and such, we're going to go for it. If we don't, we're going to kick it. So we thought with how they aligned, and when we looked at it, the best chance was to kind of try to catch them with the run right there, to try to get it down into a more manageable 3rd down, so we could go for it on the more manageable 4th down. To go for it on 4th down didn't get as much as we wanted, so we were a little farther back than what we said, so that's why the field goal came out.
You mentioned the penalties there that had cost you guys a couple of situations, including a touchdown. How was that addressed in practice this week so far?
Well, I mean, we went through them, and truthfully, the chop blocks were I take responsibility for that. It was a coaching thing, how we coached it. We didn't do a good enough job with that, so that's on myself and Coach Farmer, and we'll take that one. Legal man downfield on the one. It was a RPO that we're about a yard too far down the field, and that happens. That's a scheme thing. That's on that false start. We address that and kind of handle those as we do in that way. And really, I think that was we had one other one, and it was what was our fifth one? We had 5 penalties: 2 chops, 1 false start. We had 1 on the. We did not have an offensive PI. So there was a 5th one that, again, it was just there's stuff we gotta clean up. But I mean, the ones in between the whistles that are kind of player-driven, the kids have done a really good job with. I mean, holdings, offensive PIs, those things that are much harder to kind of dictate or control. Our kids have been really good about those. There's ones we got to clean up that are more administered. We had a delayed game that was totally on us coming off the sideline, and that's really 4 of them fall on me and the other coaches. So 4 of the 5 were on us, and then we had 1 false start, which he just quivered at the beginning, which he was trying to get a start to go cut the backside in.
For this week against Oklahoma State, do you think it's going to help Jet that last week in practice there was the whole mindset of using 2 quarterbacks against Oklahoma? Now he's in the mindset that he's the guy, he's leading this charge. Do you think that'll benefit him like this week through practice heading into Oklahoma State?
Well, I think it's the confidence that Coach Wells has put him in, myself, and then his teammates around him, but also taking those reps and also playing last week, being in live game action. I mean, for the first time in a year, I mean, he talked about it, I mean, because we don't hit our quarterbacks in practice. We talked about the other day, he said, it's weird to get hit again because you protect quarterbacks in practice, and he goes, it takes a little kind of that first one to kind of get back to, okay, this is what it feels like, just like it did in high school, just like it's always felt. So but I think he can just kind of build on what he did last week, the positives, fix the things that we can do better, and let's go out and attack them and see what kind of comes.
Have you seen him step up more as a leader in practice? Has he been more vocal and all that stuff?
He's been really, really good in the quarterback meetings as far as asking questions, being on top of it, answering questions, just being really locked in. I think today was kind of the first day with the game plan in, so I think he was more focused on that and everything. But I think he's walking around a little taller with a little bit more to him. That hey, I'm the guy. I'm going to take you there, and I think the guys can feed off that.
You're a third of the way through the season so far. What players on the offense are standing out to you have made the most improvement?
Improvement-wise, I mean, up front we've been. Steele had a much better game last week than he did the Arizona game, so that was a positive. Deaton has done a tremendous job of becoming the center and being a really kind of a guy in there that we can count on week in and week out. Up front, Bruffy is playing at I think a much higher level than he did for us in the spring. It's kind of how he's been all fall camp and just kind of continued on with that. Shine's been a real kind of pleasant surprise. I mean, when a guy's coming in that he's played in big games, he's run for yards against good people, that it's just how soon can we get it out of him. TJ's been an explosive guy that we've got to make sure we're getting the ball to enough, and we got to get it to him more. That way, Thompson has really kind of grown into that tight end position, and Kuntz gives us kind of a second guy there, so you're not in a position where you can stay in 11 personnel and we can attack people that way. So, no, there's been a lot of improvements by a lot of guys, and we just got to continue that.
Alan, you talked about keeping it in the fairway, making plays, but also knowing to throw the ball away. Jet, it seems that from his history and what he's done, that it's kind of the same way. He's able to make those big plays, but it also comes with maybe some turnovers that weren't always necessary. Do you tell him the same type of thing?
Oh yeah, when we talk, protecting the football is critical. I mean, we talk about it. He had one get away on him today and everything, and it hurts his. I mean, it bothers him as much as it bothers anybody else. I know that and everything. But you also, as a quarterback, those things do happen. You got to be able to kind of erase them when they do happen. I mean, he had the ball guy. He got loose with it the other day on the scramble, and the ball came out. It hurt him that he fumbled the football and we lost the ball on that drive and everything. But that's just part of the position of quarterback. You're going to have days where it doesn't go exactly the way you want. So, but no, it's protecting the football, and it's staying focused on what's important. Don't get too wide with your scope. Aim small, miss small. All the things, and we try to do the same thing with that within the game plan for him, so we can give him things that he can really excel at.
We talked a lot about Eric. He's coming in the off season. What does he really need to do to take that next step in game days and kind of progress from there?
Well, he's done it. I mean, really the last 2 games, and we didn't throw the ball a ton last week, and I mean that kind of the game we fell into in that. But he's done it really since the UTEP game. He had really played well in the Arizona game. Played well the other day, even though he only got one target, 1 catch, but it was an explosive play for us. But he's doing it in practice every day, and just building. The quarterbacks are building confidence in him. But we guys got to find a way to get the ball to him more and get the ball, target him more, and everything. And that's part of what we're trying to get done.
How about you mentioned TJ as well? How do you get the ball to TJ more?
Well, you got to kind of put them in position and look for those opportunities when they do pop up. You got to be able to kind of get to that play and not just kind of expect that it's going to happen within the course of the offense. So I mean, there's a definite kind of TJ plan to all things that we do. When you're looking at plays, it's like, how does that give us a chance to get TJ the football? And we're always going to try to make sure he's kind of a guy we're circling, because we know defenses are circling him too. But also, you can't throw him the ball every snap. He understands that, and he's done a tremendous job of kind of being a decoy on some things. But we got to get him the football, especially in space, and it's definitely down the field.